All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how I think it's going to be very important to watch the difference in how these two cases get treated, man. And it's the case of Roger Jackson, right? And the case of Tyler Robinson, right? And I think it's going to be very important to look at these two cases. Now, just give me 1 second. If you don't know anything about these two cases, one of them, men, Roger Jackson, right, who is a so-called black man according to how the world would treat him, but how we would believe it as Israelites. He is a Israelite of the tribe of Judah, right, according to what we believe the tribes would be classified according to the 12 tribe sign that we believe is prophecy, right? He would be an Israelite of the tribe of Judah, right? And what happened with him is he went to help a friend of his promote the wrestling organization that he worked for, and was gonna eventually go into some like business with them, and was gonna use them as part of his live streaming, because he started getting into live streaming because his dad, who is the UFC former champion, Rampage Jackson, Quinton Rampage Jackson, right? He's into streaming, and he's actually quite popular in the streaming world, and actually he's a business partner to some degree with some of the biggest streamers, Aiden Ross and Neon. He has them on his stream, and they go on his streams at regular intervals. He travels different places in the world doing streams, right? He's like quite popular and quite entertaining in that realm. Now, when Roger Jackson got there to this stream, right, to this WWE affiliate, right, this wrestling organization, what happened is the friend of his that invited him there told people, "Oh, Rampage Jackson's son's here. He's coming to kind of gonna in the future might be doing some business with this guy." And one of the wrestling guys, while Roger Jackson was just minding his business, talking with some of the other guys, joking and talking with them, right? He came over and started inputting himself into the conversation that was nothing about him, and saying, "You don't need to worry about them. You need to worry about Psycho Stew," and started trying to act as though he's cutting some wrestling promo when he'd already been told this guy's here and he's not one of the people that work in our organization. That's not the case. He's not one of the people that work with us. He's just here, and he's gonna eventually be doing things with us, right? He then, when Roger Jackson said to him, "I don't know who you are," right? Who the hell are you, basically? Who the F are you? I don't know who you are, right? He was like, "You don't know me?" Took a can of beer and smashed it in his head. Now, people can say it was a fake can of beer. People can say it was a prop can of beer. They can say whatever they want to say. The man assaulted him, right? The man assaulted him, and then tried to apologize and make it like, "Oh, I thought you was a worker. I thought you was one of our wrestlers," right? But he didn't know who he was, though. He didn't know exactly who he was for him to be feeling like he's the one that should be hitting him over the head with a can. And he actually assaulted him first. And had Roger Jackson have left it there, he would have been liable to sue him for assault, right? But the managers of that company ended up saying things like, "Oh, don't worry, you can get your give him a receipt, you can get your lick back." Going, and they actually said something like more along the lines of, "Go in there and F him up." Now, the guy that invited Roger Jackson there, he said, "Go and give him his receipt." You remember what a receipt is? The other people that worked there that were higher ranked than that guy said, "Go in there and F him up," right? Now, Roger Jackson then proceeded to, after this had took place, about an hour after, he was still streaming, and people on the comment board was antagonizing him, saying, "You ain't gonna do nothing, you ain't gonna do this, you ain't gonna do that." People were saying things to him, right? People were trying to influence him in some way to get violent, right? Now, that's no excuse. But people was trying to antagonize him to try and get him to do things. And a couple of days prior, and at the beginning of this stream, because I actually watched the whole thing to actually making this judgment, like at the beginning of the stream, he'd said, I still feel concussed," because he'd received a spinning roundhouse kick in a sparring session like a day or two before, right? He'd been spinning roundhouse kicks in his head, got concussed, said he's been throwing up. That same day, he'd been throwing up that day, right? So he already had a concussion and was in no state to be getting invited into doing no wrestling promo, getting involved in a wrestling match as a result of him getting assaulted, and they was trying to save face and think that they can try and use him to make money, and brought him into the match. Now, when he went into the match, he picked the guy up, and I saw it. He picked the guy up, slammed him down to the ground, and punched him in his face a good 20 plus times, man, unanswered shots while the guy was unconscious. He did that, right? He did do that, right? I seen it. He did it, right? But when you read the Bible and go to the laws of the Bible, the judgment for that, such a thing as that, would be more along the lines of paying his hospital bills, right? And making sure that any time that that man lost, he has to pay back for it. Now, I've looked up this Psycho Stu guy, and he's been given he's got a GoFundMe right now active that he's made and been given funds of $222,000 roughly, right? $222,000, and the target that they're aiming for is around $240,000, and it's been fixed at that bit for a long time, right? And people ain't really giving no money towards that no more, because they've kind of already forgot about that particular thing, and they've moved on to their next the next thing that they want to try and complain about. But since Ryder Jackson has now been arrested, they want to people are trying to bring it back up again, and you can see the comments here, right? And I'm gonna hopefully get into some of these comments if I can bring back up I'm gonna try and bring back up take it off airplane mode and bring back up the comments, right, and see what some of these people say. But the point I'm making is that it's going to be very important to watch how they're going to treat these two different cases, man, because you got one situation where people are saying, oh, what this guy did was attempted unalivement, but then we go to the case of this guy, Tyler Robinson, and people were saying about him, oh, he was radicalized to do that stuff, as if he ain't responsible for his own actions. But when it came to Roger Jackson, right, they was not allowing the fact that he was previously concussed the day before, a day or two before, right, from getting a spinning roundhouse kick in the head. He's had certain traumatic events happen to him where his mom was unalived, right? And I don't know the full details of that, but his mom was unalived, man, right? He's been through some things, right? But then when it came to him getting baited by the comment board and people was trying to tell him, oh, you're a fake crash out, you ain't gonna do nothing, you ain't gonna this, you ain't gonna that, everyone was saying, no, you can't try and blame the comment board for why you did that. That's what they were saying. But yet they're trying to blame radicalization for why this Tyler Robinson guy did what he's did. You see? And that's why it's going to be very important to watch and compare these two cases, because from my knowledge, as far as it still goes now, the Psycho Stu guy, he's still around, right? But the person that Tyler Robinson did something to is not still around, is he? Tyler Robinson unalived somebody, right? He did that. And people are trying to accuse radicalization for it and, oh, his political affiliations or whatever. But when it comes to Ryder Jackson, people ain't really trying to come up with any reason as to why he could have potentially did what he did. They want to throw the book at this guy, right? But prior to that, they was laughing at all the things he would say. They was laughing at the jokes that him and his dad would have back and forth towards each other. They didn't have a problem with any of it. But now they're trying to throw him under the bus, man. Now they're trying to throw him under the bus and be like, oh man, I can't believe he did this. The traumatic things that the children there and the women and children must have seen. But okay then, what about all the traumatic things that people would have seen with what Tyler Robinson did? What about all the things people would have seen from that event, man? Right? And just give me a second. I'm going to try and get this comment section up so that we can read some of the comments, what these people are saying, man. And you're going to see the level of hypocrisy that these Edomites have, man. 1 second. Give me a second. All right, so I went on the turned the airplane mode off, and then like got to the comments, turned it back off again, just so that I can have some of the comments here available to read, right? And I'm just gonna read some of them, man, and I can almost guarantee that most of the people that have commented on what they think should happen with Roger Jackson have not commented, right? Have not made a comment on what they think should happen with yeah, I thought I'd take it off of this picture here, right? Because that's him promoting a fighting, right? And I thought I'd just show a picture of him, like put the image up there of what he would have looked like at the beginning of the day. He was cool, man. He was chill that day when I watched that stream. He was just relaxing until he got hit in the head with the can. He was okay until he got hit in the head with a can. Now, what happened to this Tyler Robinson guy to make him spaz out? Nobody hit him in the head with no can. But people will try and make an excuse for him. When what Ryder Jackson did was more of a fight thing. It was more of a fight, right? Whereas the other thing was he'd never even met this guy before ever in his life in real, in face to face. Tyler Robinson had never met CK face to face. But like I said, man, it's going to be very important, in my opinion, to compare the end result of these two cases, man. It's going to be very important to compare the end result of these two cases. And most of these Edomites are going to feel bold to comment about one thing and not the other. I wonder if all the people that are making these comments are going to say anything or have made a comment also on what happened with the CK situation, man, because you know they've heard about it. But let's read some of these comments anyway. This person said, I saw a family formed and ended in divorce by the time Raja got arrested. Yeah, okay. Basically trying to say, why did it take so long? The bond only being 50K is wild. Seen people do a lot less with way bigger bonds. So again, they're trying to say, oh, they think he should be this and that. And like, oh, should he be arrested? Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, had the guy not have hit him in the head with the can, nothing else would have took, none of the other things that took place would have happened. And I saw in the Daily Mail, they had the nerve to call it what Ryder Jackson did, an unprovoked attack. And I'm like, do you even know the story? The guy hit him in the head with a can. No matter what any of you people say, the reason why Roger Jackson was involved into the wrestling match in the first place was because the wrestler that has the name Psycho Stu as his wrestling name hit the guy in the head with a can of beer. Not a fake can of beer, a real can of beer. Whether you want to say it's an empty can of beer or whatever, let somebody hit you in the head with a can of beer and see how you like it then. Would you, if somebody hit you in the head with a can of beer, empty or not, would you call that assault? And if you would, then that means that Roger Jackson was assaulted, right? Now, he says the irony of Rampage saying he set aside tuition money for his Japanese kids and bail money for his black kids and then calling everyone else racist. Now, that is dumb because ultimately Rampage Jackson, all of his children are whatever he is. They're not what the mom is. But because he treated them like they're something different because of the moms, that made a difference in how how his children would have acted in life, man. Where really all the things that Rampage Jackson thinks that his children born by the so-called Japanese mother could do, because of him thinking that Japanese people are somehow better than him, his other sons would have been able to do exactly the same things. His children born by the so-called black woman would have been able to do exactly the same things as what the children born by the Japanese woman would have been able to do, because the children have got a spirit on them of a certain kind because of who he is, man. But he didn't believe that about his own self. Let's carry on, man. I want to just see the thing people talking about the judgment. Bail being 50K doesn't mean you pay 50K. You pay 10%. Now, again, according to the Bible, right, which is supposedly the judgment, the religion of America, right? You're not supposed to go to jail for that. You're not supposed to go to jail for such a thing. You're supposed to pay the person that you hospitalized hospital fees pretty much to make them have their health back again and pay for any of the time lost. Now, if you don't believe that, just look it up, right? Look it up for yourself. People look up everything else in life. Look up that, right? Any of you scoffers out there, look it up. If it's 50K bail, he doesn't need 50K saved up, only 5K, right? And that's more close to like that's actually not even a bad thing if that takes place, man. It's actually not even a bad thing if he doesn't go to jail for that, because according to the Bible, he's not supposed to go to jail for that. But according to the Bible, for what this Tyler Robinson guy did, he's supposed to not be around anymore. So, like I said before, it's going to be very important to see how they judge these two cases, man, and see how they judge these situations, man. It's going to be very important to see. See, here's somebody saying about effing time, right? Given everything he wanted, well, except a father. There they go with that father's thing again, man. Which an Israelite having his father around is important, but I wonder if the guy that unalived CK, did he have his father around? Yes, he did. So if they're trying to make out like the reason why Roger Jackson did what he did is because of not having his father around, okay. What's the reason why Tyler Robinson did what he did? What's the reason why T Robinson did his thing, man? TR. What's the reason why TR did what he did to CK? What's the reason? 9 years is too short. Not even getting double digits for what might easily have been premeditated unalivement is insane, you see? But I wonder if this same person has made a comment on what they think should happen to TR. I wonder. I could almost guarantee that they haven't. Let's carry on reading. I've read that he made a statement. He reportedly said, quote, "Hey man, what you see, there goes that false witness stuff that he so likes to do, man. I don't believe that was said." But anyway, it says, "Good. This guy had no business being free. No impulse control with these people." You see? You see? You see how they try and come with it? Now, 1 second, I've got to find out what comments get made in response to that, man. I'm going to turn the airplane mode back off again. 1 second, man. Let's see. All right, so I wanted to see what people's response was going to be to this, because they always try, whenever it's with us, man, they always want to make it a thing about race every time, right? But I wonder if this person thinks that TR, Mr. Robinson, T. Robinson, did he have impulse control? Does he have good impulse control? I wonder what you've got to say about that. Does TR have impulse control? Because they're quick to say that we ain't got impulse control whenever we do something wrong, right? But has TR got impulse control? Has he? Said, "Good, this guy had no business being free. No impulse control with these people. Impulse. He was caught literally online on camera telling people what he was going to do. Maybe he was just too stupid to realize that consequences would happen after. Keep talking online, Eddie." I forget all that. What do you mean, these people? Are they people though? You see? So when it comes to us, we ain't humans, we ain't people. Whenever we do something wrong or make a mistake, right? But I wonder if all these people are going to say the same comments online over this guy, TR, when what this T Robinson guys did has caused for people to march all out in the streets, right? There's a whole outrage. This guy, what this TR guy did, if you are to believe it as though what actually happened, he's caused a whole bunch. He's made laws change, man. He's made laws around the world change, man. What Roger Jackson didn't make people start losing freedom of speech. But what this TR guy did, what this T Robinson guy did, if you're to believe the story as it's been spoken on the media, what he did has ended up making plenty of people lose jobs now. It's divided America, what this guy did. But somehow more people are going to want to try and comment on this. Then they're going to want to try and comment on what they think should happen to that other guy, man. Right? And that's why I said it's going to be very important to compare how these two cases go in regards to Roger Jackson and Tyler Robinson. It's going to be very important to see what they do, man. Right? It's going to be very important because one person unalive somebody and the other person beat somebody up and hospitalize them. One person unalive somebody and the other person beat somebody up and hospitalize them, man. That's the facts of what happened. If you're to believe everything that's gone out there in regard to this situation, that's what's took place, right? Let's read. He says threatening violence. No, forget that. Like I just like it's just with these E's, man, they're just something else, man. Here we go. Let's read this. The same people. This is a good comment right here, man. The same people saying he should do 20 years are the same people that said Zimmerman was innocent. Exactly. Exactly. The same people that are saying that an Israelite man should get 20 years in prison are the same people that would also say that George Floyd, which I don't care about that guy. Like, I wouldn't have liked that guy personally. I wouldn't have wanted to be around him. I wouldn't have wanted to live around that guy, right? But what the crime that he was actively committing that made the police even bother him in the first place and arrest him in the first place was that crime the judgment for it capital punishment? Was it? And if not, then that shouldn't have happened to him. But the same people that saying he should get 20 years would be the same people that said would be saying George Floyd unalived over overdose. So they just chop and change their mind based on who did the crime, man. That's how they do. He won't get anything serious. Bail is too low, and he shouldn't get anything serious. He should be made to pay the man's hospital fees and all the time that guy lost for while he was in hospital, just like the scriptures say. Because had the guy not have hit him in the head with the can, he wouldn't have did none of that to him. He didn't even know. He wouldn't have not even noticed that guy had that guy not have came up to him and started speaking to him, talking about you don't need to worry about them. You need to worry about Psycho Stew. And like our parents always told us when we was growing up, they said, keep your hands to yourself, right? Well, guess what? You also in life have to keep your cans to yourself too. Yeah? Take that as a comedy, whatever you want to take it as. You have to keep your hands and your cans to yourself in life, man. And if what Roger Jackson did is wrong and deserves him to go to jail, like some of you people think out there, okay, well then what does T. Robinson deserve then? The guy that unalived CK, what does he deserve? And if what Roger Jackson did is because of his race and because of low impulse control, then what was the reason why T. Robinson did what he did? If T. Robinson was radicalized, right, then was Roger Jackson radicalized? Because he's a so-called black man that grew up in America. Was he radicalized? Did the comment board radicalize him and bait him into doing something wrong? Because if you're going to say no, then okay. No right or left or anything like that radicalized the Robinson geezer then. T. Robinson. Tyler Robinson, no one radicalized him even. If nobody radicalized Roger Jackson, nobody radicalized him either. They're both to blame equally for their own thing. But one of them didn't unalive somebody and beat them up very badly to the way they hospitalized them. The other one unalived somebody and went through a hell of a lot of planning to do it. If we believe both stories is what we've seen online and in the media, right? So, like I said before, again, the comparison of these two cases and how they get judged is going to be very important, man. The end result of both of these things is going to be very, very, very important, man. So here someone said, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. But I wonder if they've said, ladies and gentlemen, we got him in regards to this guy that literally unalived somebody and has changed the actual way how freedom of speech is looked at in the land of America. And ultimately, it's affected the whole world. I wonder if they've got anything to say about that. What that T. Robinson guy did. In fact, I can't even say T. Robinson, because there's another guy over in the UK that's got similar like thingy. So I'm gonna have to say Tyler Robinson, right? What Tyler Robinson did, right? What he did has actually actively affected the whole earth, and it's gonna affect people's freedom of speech for the foreseeable future. What Roger Jackson did not do that, and what Tyler Robinson has affected more so-called white people, you Edomites, you Idumans, than what Roger Jackson did. The thing that Roger Jackson did affected Psycho Stew and him alone and affected himself. What Tyler Robinson did has affected plenty of people, man. And America's never going to be the same again because of it. And you people just watch. All you people trying to seek retribution and try and think that your life's going to be bettered by Roger Jackson going to jail. No, you need to worry about taking the beam at your own eye, man. All the racial stereotyping you want to try and do about this and make Roger Jackson be guilty because of his race for why he did this. Well, then you have to apply that same logic to your own people then for why Tyler Robinson did what he did then too. And that's why it's very heavy that these two cases are out there, man. And I was thinking about this case. I was thinking about this case while I was thinking about the CK situation, man, and it's Tyler Robinson guy that unalived him, right? I was thinking about this because people was really losing their mind, foaming out the mouth in this. You had TikTokers, you had HS TikToky and all these kind of man, these YouTuber mans, these influencer mans. You had Logan Paul, all these people opening up their mouth, talking about it online, saying he needs to go jail, he needs this and he needs that. How many of them have made a comment about a guy that literally, if we're to believe the story as it is, just like how people believe the story of Roger Jackson as it's been portrayed, he went on a roof, planned it out, unalived somebody, jumped off the roof, jumped down off a high roof, you understand, caused a whole bunch of people to be fearing for their lives, running and fleeing at a big college campus, man. Right? If what Roger Jackson did was causing trauma and fear in people's minds because some people seen him hurting somebody at a wrestling match that is about people hurting people, by the way. In the wrestling match, that all those people that was at the wrestling match, they came there to see violence in a controlled state. They came there to see people get punched in the face, fake punches. I'll give you that. Hit with a DDT, hit with a clothesline, leg dropped, Irish whipped, thrown over the top rope, punched, kicked, slammed, scoop slam. You know what I mean? Fireman's carried all kind of different finishers done onto them and all that kind of stuff. They came there. That's what they came there for. They came there to see violence. The people that went to the CK thing and was at the college campus for that, they never went there to see violence. They went there to see a debate. They went there to try and get their point across and see what's going on in regards to words. You understand? And an Edomite that had low impulse control then, since y'all like to put that out there, he unalived him, if we're to believe it as exactly as it's been portrayed in the media. So if what Roger Jackson did is wrong, then what Tyler Robinson did is worse. Because Psycho Stu's still alive. CK ain't. And like I said again, and I'm going to say it again, the comparison of these two cases is going to be very important to see how they judge them, man. And even if they judge them fairly, the public response to one case versus the other is going to be very important as well, because you will have Edomites trying to be like, see, if like they'll be like, if the Tyler Robinson guy gets made to have to go through capital punishment, they'll be like, oh, see, but what Roger Jackson did though, he should have had that done to him, and you'll be like, no, actually, he shouldn't have. Right, here we go. It says, you guys live in Looney Tunes land. If you think a black dude in Cali is gonna get 9 years, like they're just trying to make out like we are just so free and just get so much mercy in this world, man. It's an absolute joke. But I'm gonna end the lesson there anyway. I just wanted to make this point because I think it's gonna become potentially a point in the future that's gonna be mentioned about how comparing Roger Jackson case and Tyler Robinson case, man. And even if it's not, even if the law gets it right, the people's response among the Edomites is still going to be way more that they're going to be bold to talk about this, but not bold to talk about that, man. And plenty of people spoke about what Roger Jackson did, man. You had all kind of people, former fighters, MMA fighters, and all kind of people running their mouth about Roger Jackson. Oh, he's a this and he's a that. He's an animal and all of this. But I wonder if all these same people have said the same thing about a guy that literally went on a roof and took someone's, you know what I mean? Took someone's life away. That's what they say happened, right? So if what Roger Jackson did is bad, then what that guy did is worse, right? And what race is he? But then they'll say, oh, y'all always make it about race, but you made it about race first when you started bringing up Roger Jackson's race for what he did to one person. That hit him first, by the way. That wasn't some guy that's against violence. He was a pro wrestler that didn't feel shamed to hit a man that he don't know in the head with a can of beer. But y'all have a million one excuses for that. And then on top of that, you went and attacked his father that didn't have nothing to do with it and tried to blame his father's parenting skills. Okay, then. Are you going to blame Tyler Robinson's father's parenting skills? Or what about his mother's parenting skills? Are you going to blame any of them and send any of them racial comments about how they raised a monster? You going to say anything like that to them? Or is it only when the person's got brown skin that you do it? You tell me which one, man. Because the hypocrisy of you Edomites is being shown to the world, man. And just like the scriptures say, the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. Also, like the scriptures say, take the beam out of your own eye. Right? Y'all have got all this judgment to make about so-called black people that you don't spend any time looking at your own iniquity and your own dysfunction among your own people, man. And you try and use so-called black people's wickedness, so-called Mexican people's wickedness, and so-called Native American people's wickedness as a smokescreen to hide your own wickedness, man. As if what we do wrong somehow excuses the wickedness that you do. Now, in a spiritual sense, we understand why that is, because we're the children of Israel. And if we're no longer sinning, we're not going to be in captivity anymore. We're going to be removed out of this captivity. So you always have to make sure that we're sinning. And that's why some advice out there for all of the people of our nation would be, don't not resist doing all of the stereotypical things that these people want you to do, man. Stop calling yourself black, because they love it when you call yourself black. Call yourself an Israelite and then begin to find out what that means and how you should act if you are an Israelite, man. And you'll see how they just start falling apart even more without you doing anything besides changing and ameliorating your life and cleansing your own way. Right? Just by us changing our diet alone makes them bug out, man, to the point where they start wearing hats saying, I love bacon. We don't eat bacon. We don't eat pork. And then they start, this world gets offended that you don't want to eat pork. But then it's a Christian country, supposedly. So they ain't supposed to eat pork either. But anyway, I'm going to end the lesson there, man. Like, I just thought it's a very important thing to mention and compare these two cases, man. The Roger Jackson and Tyler Robinson. Even if we just go based on what the end judgment is, even if the judgment is fair in regards to what should actually happen, even if they do it according to the Bible, you will end up noticing that the way how these E's looked and reviewed the case, they wanted Roger Jackson to receive worse judgment or equal judgment as to what Tyler Robinson received. That's what they're going to want, the average Edomite, man. Right? And Lord willing, that's not what they get, because Roger Jackson does not deserve to receive the same judgment as a guy that unalived somebody. His judgment should be, according to the scriptures, to pay back that guy's hospital bills, right? Pay back any of the time that guy lost while he was in hospital and give him back any of the money that he would have lost from that time. And then maybe have to receive the same kind of physical pain that what he gave to Psycho Struman. And then after that, all's forgiven. That would be the biblical way to handle it. And what should happen to Tyler Robinson should be that he unalived somebody. So then he would. Now, I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do, but they are saying out there that that's potentially what they are going to do, right? Capital punishment. I'm saying what the Bible says should be done, man. And if they're a so-called Christian country, then that's what they should do then. Since they're saying that they're going to do it, let's see if they do it then, innit? Right? I'm not saying that, like, we as citizens can do those judgment, but they, as the people that are saying that they're the leaders over everyone, that's what they should do then, shouldn't they? If they really love God, right? I'm going to end it there, man. Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.